right. Hey, what's up, guys? Glad to be back at you. DnA, episode 5. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. We got our very first guest, my buddy, Omar Mendez of Rocky Desert Properties. And he's going to give us some knowledge on how to get involved in the real estate investing, what it takes to be successful. And we're just super excited. Omar, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, guys, thank you for having me on the show. I am very excited to be here with you guys. I think this is good. This is a good show. A little bit about me. So I, like you said, Omar Mendez. I am a real estate investor here in Grand County. I have a wife, 2 beautiful daughters. Just been investing in real estate for just over 6 years. Now, last 2 years has been full time.
Wow.
And man, we're excited.
Man, it sounds like you're going. Sounds like Derek, man. He says that, man, you're doing some good stuff, man. So, yeah, that's good. Can you give us a little bit of backstory about just like where you came from, being, just kind of your upbringing?
Yeah, so of course I'm an immigrant from Mexico. I was brought here by my family when I was 11. I grew up here in the city of Quincy. Mm-hmm. I'm a family of 7. Basically grew up, and my dad would take me picking cherries. Also picking pears, man, like onion planting, all kinds of field work. I mean, some hoeing.
You know what work is, man. Yeah, you know what work is. You know.
Well, what I've noticed that for us as immigrants, I'll talk for myself, but we look at life different. We look at opportunities way different. I've noticed that for a long time. And of course, I think the United States, it's a great country and it's full of opportunities. If you want to make something happen and get ahead and just about do anything you want to do, man, opportunities are there. You just got to go and get it.
Yeah, I love that. I believe that too. I think so many of us take things for granted, especially us being Americans, and some of the opportunities we have, we don't even actually see that all in front of our face. So I think your story is amazing, to come from Mexico, to be an immigrant, to work in the field some, to see that hard work, and then to go after much more, right? Your parents came here for a reason. They brought you here for a reason, and for you to really grasp that and take hold of that, because a lot of us just waste these opportunities.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything that he's saying. It's kind of like we're here and we're just here, but it sounds like your parents brought you here, and it seems like you're really chasing the American dream of financial freedom, because that's all we want is a financial freedom. And it sounds like you're on the path to do that, or you're already on the path to do that. So it'll be good to get some knowledge from you to help me and, some people out, a lot of people out.
For sure, man. It's of course, it's nothing in life. It's easy. It's always difficult, especially being an immigrant, but I believe that in life, if you really want something, there's always going to be a way to make it happen. Yes, there's a lot of rocks and a lot of tripping hazards along the way, mm-hmm. And there's a lot of issues, if you want to call it that. There's a lot of just being an immigrant, there's all, I guess, I don't know, all kinds of stuff that will be thrown at you, when you're in this path, in life, but the opportunities are here, man, and you just got to go and get them. Period.
That. Yeah, I like that.
So you said you've been doing real estate 6 years now. One, I guess a good question would be, why real estate? Why did you find real estate to be the business or the venture you wanted to get into? What did you see in it? And what would somebody now see? Why would we choose real estate now as to invest in?
Yeah. So before real estate, I've always had the kind of the entrepreneur mentality, kind of the attitude, just always looking for a way to make a dollar, right? Just in business. It's been a story. It's been a struggle in doing different things, from selling popsicles, selling bread. I think at some point, it's funny because at some point, I was kind of buying some old cars and I thought I could make some money, right? Buying those,
fix them up
a little bit, and at some point, I lost bad on a couple deals on the cards, and I think my wife, because my wife says, that's not your thing. You need to quit doing this.
Right.
You lose money.
Right.
That's smart. That's a good thing you listen, man.
Yeah.
You're doing well now, so it's good, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not, and nothing happens overnight. The thing is, usually people will tend to look at someone and say, wow, look at this guy, look at this gal, or whatever, right? This person is doing very well, or this and that, but unless people know the story and
Right.
the struggles and the just everything involved to get to a place where you want to be or you're striving for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing, man.
Right.
You lose, you win, and you learn so much.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is just getting started, right? Is just getting
Most
started,
important thing.
and for those that don't know, so my wife and I, we do own a few rentals here in Moses Lake, so we have some property. We've never invested in a real estate to try to flip or to make money, so we're actually in the process now. Omar is actually schooling me up. He's my mentor here, and he's and that's one thing, is never be scared to reach out to somebody and to find, we talked about it last episode, I think, Anthony, is find people that have what you want and hang around them, ask questions. And Omar's been that guy for me as we go through this process. And I think it's funny because we've talked about different things that may come up in my journey doing this flip and good and bad, and Omar's been right on everything so far. So it's just kind of crazy. But you're right, man. Things are, I find myself too is sometimes thinking long, like, man, I want to be where Omar's at and you can easily become discouraged if you look at that. We got to take everything one step at a time. So I rein myself back in and be like, hey, just one step at a time. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. So I'm just trying to say, I guess, don't get overwhelmed, right? Because we can look and see the success you're having and kind of be like, I can never get there, and don't get started.
Yeah, and that's huge because, I mean, you taking the next step, and I want to dab in this, and I want to it would be nice if I could quit my day job, and do this. But so, I mean, Omar, like, how do I get started, man? Like, if I wanted to start tomorrow, how do I get started?
Yeah, so first of all, let me just go back to Derek's question, because, man, you guys threw like 10 questions in one here.
We did. So
Hey, we're going to do that a lot. Just so you know, Anthony and I, we're all over the place sometimes.
Yeah, so going back to Derek's question, hey, by any means, I don't know everything, okay? I still make mistakes, but hey, look, we learn so much from mistakes. We learn so much from each other. Anytime that I'm able to mentor or help someone in some way, I'm learning too. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
And look, man. Overall, I just feel like I'm just a blessed guy that it's had these opportunities, and obviously go after them. And by any means, this isn't just me. My wife it's also on board with this, and she is a huge part of this investing journey. And so it just takes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But for what you were saying is, yeah, you, once you get into it, of course, find someone who is already doing what you want to do, or that person is going to be able to help you get there a lot quicker. Here's one thing I will say though. Make sure that if you are you want someone to mentor you, to help you out in any sort of way, just think of how can you bring value to that individual,
Yeah.
And that should be the first thing, man. And that goes a long ways because it's kind of difficult for someone to mentor you. If you just, hey man, mentor me, right? I mean, no.
Yeah.
Think about it. That's the first. Think about how you can bring the value, man, and things will happen. Period.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my take on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It's nothing's for free, man. You know, you can't just ask for a handout. It's a give-take relationship. You know, I got you all the way. So, yeah, man, that's like me. I'm a new booty in this, and this is going to be great having this guy. And I'm going to learn from Derek, too, as along the way. So I'm just, I've been hitting a lot of podcasts, listening to a lot of different stuff. And I know it's a lot of stuff out there. So, I mean, overall, I'm trying to get started. So how do I get started?
Yeah, Omar, can you maybe explain to you how to get started? And there's a couple ways, right? So if you have your own money, and if you don't have money too, how would somebody, because people I think don't realize, you know, I'm a problem solver, you're a problem solver. So if you don't have money to get started, how can you navigate that to still get in the business?
That's a very good question, right? I mean, the most people would say, well, they would find 1,000 excuses why they cannot get started, why they cannot find a property to invest in, why they didn't do this because their dog died, or because the cat, you know, slept outside. I don't know, whatever. Right?
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
But no, there's many ways to get started in real estate investing. Can you start without having any money? Of course you can. So I'll just kind of a quick and easy way. So think about, if you have the drive, you have the want, you have the eager to go and get something done, to get started. Well, obviously start educating yourself about the business that you want to dive into, right? You want to get into. Well, you can either find a mentor, have that person, you know, help you out, guide you through the process. Start reading books regarding the subject that the investment that you want to get into. Mm-hmm. Start listening to podcasts related to that, just like we were talking with you on this. And then after that, you know, guess what? There is way too much money out there. Yeah. That there's a lot of people that are looking for a secure, for a safe place to put their money in, right? I mean, right. You look at the stock market and or some people, they have the money in CDs. It makes a poor 1-2%, right? 3%. Right. Well, they could be making a lot more money investing in real estate mm-hmm. through investing in the property, right? Right. So, you know, basically you would go out and you know, talk to your friend, talk to your I don't know, your neighbor or whatever, right? I mean, someone you know, and then that's it, man. You find a deal, there's money. Yeah. So just simple as that. Pretty much, if you have a good plan, if you have a solid plan in place, if you can find somebody that has money, you can share your plan, offer them a more money in return on their investment than what they're currently getting. There's a lot of people out there looking to invest their money. If you can show them a plan, showing them a greater investment in a return, it's a great idea, and people are going for that.
Yeah. So how does that work? I mean, like return, is that how fast is the return? Is it like a quick return? Is it a year return? Is it a few months return? Like, you know, how's that work? Yeah. So this just comes back to your agreement with that lender, that individual, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, and when I say lender, individual, that can be your parents. Maybe your parents mm-hmm. have money, right? That could mm-hmm. be your friend that he likes you and trusts. Mm-hmm. You know, mm-hmm. he trusts you with his money. So that just comes back. You know, the typical lender or loan. That's always negotiable, mm-hmm. but. It's typically, you know, most people will want like 9 months to a year loan, and mm-hmm. you don't, like, if you're going to invest in a property to flip, you don't want to be like, your loan be due like in 3-4 months, you know, or 6 months, you know, mm-hmm. just in case, right? You want to give yourself some room there. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much negotiable. Okay. But I would say like make it for a year, and then right. if you're going to sell the property, then you can pay them back sooner, right? And then right. whatever interest rate it's agreed,
that's basically a year. It's based on the annual basis.
Okay.
So
Sounds
yeah.
good.
Nice. I like that. So I'm going to steal Anthony's question here. Just because being a minority with your background and everything, did you find it difficult getting started in the real estate game? Being a minority, did anybody give you like the side eye or didn't think you could do it? Because that's a hurdle for a lot of people, you know.
Well, first of all, that's a very good question, right? Besides, well, even before starting investing in real estate, it's just overall it's been a difficult being a minority here in this country, just from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Since we moved here to the U.S. Of course I was 11 at the time. Now I'm 37. But just growing up, it was difficult in school, at work. There's always the negative, and there's always I don't know. I mean, I could mention a lot of things, but there's always negative. There's always hate. There's always there's always all these obstacles that you got to deal with, man, on a daily basis. There's people that don't believe in you, just as an individual, because you're an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? If you have a plan in life and you want something really bad and you want to succeed and you have this thing that you want to do, you just keep going, and you don't stop. I mean, I believe that no matter where you live, no matter where you're from, there's always going to be hate out there anywhere in this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of there hits a point where you just kind of like you grow a very thick skin, and I mean, and then you just go with it, man. You you just gotta let things slide, and that's it.
Yeah.
You just can't change people's mind. Because they it just, to me, I think it's just a lack of education, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why that's how I look at it. But look, life is good, man. You just continue.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is kind of off the topic of one of our questions, but it seems like every time we talk, man, you're just like, you're on beat, man. You're like going. So I mean, what drives you, man? Like, what's your drive? Like, what keeps you waking up and doing what you want to do? Because you seem like you're pretty passionate about it.
Yes. My drive is, man, it's my family. It's the freedom that I'm able to have, the lifestyle, the people that I'm able to help, people that I'm able to mentor, to in any given way, right? I mean, whether it may whether it may be from our the friend who needs some mentoring, whether it may be maybe an individual that it's a lender, right? I mean, anyway, there is it goes both ways, right? And so like finding other deals to invest in.
Right.
The other thing is like being able, basically what this business offers is also being able to travel
right.
whenever you want, man, pretty much.
Financial freedom.
That's my drive, man. Like I mentioned before, my wife, it's a big she's a great individual. She's behind this with me.
Yeah.
Obviously we're a little different. She's more of a driver, and she's got the long-term vision.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it would be considered, the visionary. And then I'm on the what do you call that, integrator.
Right.
So basically,
okay.
in any kind of business, if you have a visionary and integrator,
Visionary and integrator.
there is possibilities are just endless. Obviously, you got to be able to put things together, work with each other, and then just make things happen.
So. I mean, and just talking with you shortly, man, it sounds like your wife's amazing, man. And you talk about your wife quite a bit, which is cool. So he loves you. What's your wife's name? Marisol. Yeah, he loves him some Marisol. I mean, he talks about you all the time, even off camera. So that's
well,
what's
I think,
up.
and the team, like anytime you get into a business like this, the team is what propels you and continues to propel you forward. So I think having a good, solid team at home is important. And then obviously also your team, your business team. And that's one of the things that was, when we got into this project,
your business
has been the toughest part. I think the toughest transition for me in doing this is finding a good team. The people that are going to be the guys we need them are going to show up and they're going to do a good job. So that's the toughest part for me so far. So learning that, finding my own team of people has been tough. So I think that anybody getting involved in this, I think that's probably going to be one of the toughest things is finding good people that are honest. You know, and Omar's done this long enough where he has a solid group of people around him, and he's got a great team. And the cool thing about it is he's blessing people with jobs and income. So it's not just like it's a full circle thing. And I think that's the cool thing about it too.
That's cool.
Well, here's the thing. You're talking about a team and people. So one of the things that I think we have to remember is real estate is not. It's not about a property. Real estate, it's about people. It's a people's business.
Okay.
If you treat people right, if you do what you say you're going to do, people will be there for you. They're going to be. I mean, not just there for you, but they're going to be there for your vision, for your projects, for your. For whatever that you're doing, people will be there. But you have to remember that, everybody. I think we as humans, we all have the need and the want to feel. Everybody wants to feel important, right? Everybody wants to feel like, hey, this guy, he respects me, treats me right. He does what he says he's gonna do. Just those simple things. If you do those things, man, it's unbelievable what you can achieve, what you can do in life. But it's not about me or my idea or my project. It's not. It's about the people that make this whole thing happen. Whether it starts from your lender, from your contractor, your title company, your real estate agent, all that. It's about them, not and of course, I'll say it again, right? I mean, one of the biggest ones is your business partner. In this case, it's my wife, and look, I mean, she's a great individual.
Right.
So.
That's good, man. That's awesome.
You've been doing this a while. You've created a sustainable business doing real estate. What does it take? Because there's two sides to it, right? There's a flipping side of real estate where you can buy real estate to sell for the quick dollar. And it's a lot of money, though. It's a substantial amount typically. But there's also the acquisition of properties to keep for long term, which is, we say, like long money, I guess, which is going to pay you and your family for a long time, which is i.e. rentals and stuff like that. So how did you go about, or how would somebody go about creating a sustainable business in real estate?
So when you talk about sustainable business, just like any other business out there, everything takes a lot of effort every day. It's kind of funny that this is a good question, right? It's kind of funny that probably the most asked question for us is people will ask like, hey, so I'm just gonna assume, right? Do you get up at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning because you don't, like, if you don't have to go work anymore or this or that? I'm like, no. Just because if your business it's at a point where let's say physically you don't have to, if you don't have to do labor, that doesn't mean that you just can sleep every day until 10 o'clock 11 in the morning. No, we still get, my wife and I still get up in the morning at 4:30 in the morning, 4:30 5 o'clock in the morning. We get up and we work in the office. We look for opportunities. We, always look for other properties. Obviously, whether it may be a flip for a rental. But no, it's not. I think I kind of went off the question there, but yeah, that's.
So you created this sustainable business by making sure you hold on to some as well. I mean, you've got this mastered. I get so much knowledge every time we. So Omar and I work out 4 days a week, man, and I'm picking his brain. I'm picking stuff left and right, and don't ever stop doing that. For all you young guys out there, just keep your mind open and keep learning from people. But you've created it by you flip consistently, but you also make sure you hold on to some as well for long term for your family.
Yeah. So yes, I mean we have gotten to a point where it's sustainable, between flips and rental properties. But like I said, it doesn't mean that we can just kind of just relax and not do anything, right? I mean we're still young. I mean, we don't want to we don't want to I guess retire yet or anything, right? We're still happy to be in this business and deal with the challenges. I think no matter what point, at what stage a business is, if a business can be sustainable today, if you quit, I mean, I'm going to say this like more specifically with flips, right?
Right.
If you stop looking for property, if you stop buying, well, that business it's probably going to die, right?
Right.
Unless you have this huge team, there's this bigger team who is kind of out there buying for you, and this and that. Obviously, that's a different that would be a different level, but yes, but if you get to a point where you have X amount of rental properties, well, of course, you can just retire if you want, right? I
Right.
mean, you need X amount of dollars that you need a month to live and go have a margarita on the beach, right?
That's what I'm talking. Daphne would like that.
Yeah.
So, but what? I think you said it too when you got your routine of getting up early and just the word is discipline, right? Just discipline. And if anybody wants to be successful in something, it's keeping the discipline even when you're having success. Because I think a lot of times for people, as you start having success, we can get less disciplined, and that's when things do fall apart. They're not as sustainable. So I think getting up bright early in the morning at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, doing what you do, or hitting the gym, or doing something early is just a mindset thing of discipline that sets you apart.
Right. And sitting here, we had Omar here last week, and one of the things I got from him is that you gotta, when we talked about it, is just the drive. Like, you don't have to have a high school diploma. You don't have to have a college degree. You got to have the drive and get yourself around these guys. You could be a dropout and still be successful in this world.
Yeah.
And this could be a way that, you kind of touched on that last time about what's too early, what's too late to get started in this.
I think that there's really no too early, too late to get started or to get investing in whatever is it that you love to do, and the word is what you love to do, because one of the things that I've noticed a lot, just as I was growing up and going to high school, and just overall here in this country. What happens is you hear a lot of I think a lot of people they push the hey, I want my son to go to college, I want my son to go to university and become a doctor, become a accountant, become something big, right? I think we're always kind of people thinking, well, I want my kid, my daughter to be successful, right?
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing. The problem with that is this, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I say the problem is because it is a problem. Why? Well, there's nothing wrong with someone wanting to better themselves, to wanting to go to college, go to university, man, and get a master's degree, a PhD, whatever it may be. That's good. Mm-hmm. The problem is that I've seen this a lot where people will go, or their parents push them to go to go get a master's degree in something that, right after last year, man, they're like, oh, I hate this. I hate this thing. I don't want to do this. Mm-hmm. So guess what? if my advice to someone who is young still, maybe hasn't even graduated high school, look, always follow your dreams. You know,
Yeah.
if you love music, man, just go and be a musician. When you love something, money always shows up. Don't do something just because of money. I've heard this so many times, like, I'm going to be a nurse because they make so much money, right?
But they hate what they do.
But they hate what they do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying,
Yep. I know exactly what you're saying, and it kind of goes off too, and a little bit off subject, so I'll pull myself back real quick. But sometimes parents will force their kids, and there's nothing wrong with this, right? But for another parent's sake, for somebody outside their own family, they're making sure their kids are going to go. They have to go because they're worried what their friend down the street is going to think of them if their kid doesn't go to college. So that's another subject, but we're so influenced by so many other things. But Omar, I want you to, I'll get off this, but share a little bit. Great question by Anthony. How young is too young to get started? Share about your brother-in-law. He's got an amazing story. And I think this is for anybody to hear what's possible, man. Because this is a true testimony to what you're talking about.
Yeah. So this is this is quite the this could be like another a full topic on this, right? But I'll just I'll make it short, right? So my brother-in-law, he I think when he was 11th grade, obviously he did graduate high school, but when right at 11th grade, he saw what like what we were doing in this with the investing side of things, and he has seen on the other side of the family also as contractors, and so he's been around the contractors and he's been around my wife and I, which we've been more on the flipping side and the rental properties. The kid he's right now I think he's 20 years old. And since he was, I think 18 years old or something, he has flipped, I think around 7 or 8 properties, and I think also bought a fourplex, and everything started by he asked his dad, hey, I want to start investing in real estate, And by the way, it's a funny thing because one of his teachers told him, like, when he told her what he was going to do, and he said, I'm not going to go to college, I'm just going to start investing in real estate, right? And she at the time she told him, like, you crazy, what are you doing, that's the wrong thing, and you're not going to make any money. The kid he's 20 now.
He was like 17 when he did his first
18,
house, right?
Yes, 17 or 18. And now he just said, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and that's what he's doing full time. I doubt that he'll ever look for a job. I mean, he's doing good, but see, here's the thing. He's reached out to the right people. He's reached out with the right mentality.
Right.
Say, hey, I want to learn. I want to do this business.
Right.
I mean, he's an individual that he calls my wife, like probably 4 or 5 times a day with questions, and anytime he's got something going on, he's super excited. He shares because that's how it is with the investors, right? And but he's always like, one of the things he does is he'll call me up, say, hey bro, I'm coming by your house. You want a coffee? Look, it's just a cup of coffee, right? But see, he understands value, and that's the key right there. People need to understand value and value people's time.
Right.
That's very important.
That's good stuff, dude.
That's really good stuff. And this is one of those things that's kind of like when we talked about like the whole like high school, college. That when I was brought up, exactly like we said, it was like you brought up, we were taught to go to college, high school, and me, I was just high school, right? And then with my kids, I'm like, hey, you got to go to college. And so it's a lot of things is that there's a lot of secrets that were there that my son's like, hey, well, I got to go to college for business. I said, yes, so you can basically get some of these secrets that a lot of people, the rich, aren't telling us. You got to go to college and bring those home. But I've never had anybody around me in my circle that knew these things. So I was trying to push my kid to find these secrets,
right?
Which
is good. It's good,
but the thing is that it would be nice in our world if we were taught business, real estate, all these different things when we're in school.
Well,
so when we get out of school, but that was the main objective instead of just your basic.
Man,
stuff.
that brings us. We're gonna another topic, right? Is like the thing is we'll go to schools, right? In my opinion on schools, I have some strong opinions on schools, but it's the same thing as they're snatching dreams and goals from kids if they don't, because all kids got to fit in a box and in a system, and as soon as you don't fall in line with the system, you're looked at as a failure, or it's not going to happen.
That's true.
But it sucks because our kids should be, molded to be creative, right? And they're taking the creativity away from kids. You see it because crushed a dream, and now look what he's doing. I think it's powerful. And I just want to share this real quick. I was at an event years ago, a leadership event, and this thing just resonated so strong with me, bro. It was the fact that he asked a guy on stage asked a question. He says, "What's the average age of an entrepreneur?" And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, "Oh, dude, 20, 22, just a young kid that just," and his answer was 55.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm like, thinking, I was like, what, 55? He's explained it.
Right.
It's because you go to school, right? And you're trained to go to more school. Mm-hmm. In that school, you're trained to go get a job. Mm-hmm. In that job, you're trained to work till you're 65 years old to get your retirement.
Yes.
But what's happening is guys and gals are doing this thing, that life, and by the time they're 50, 55, they're sitting back looking at what they have and what they've accomplished and realize they've done nothing that they've wanted to do.
Right.
And they're not happy. So they're stepping away then, and they're creating and going after dreams and goals at 55
right,
years old. So my point is, don't wait. Like, I don't want people to wait, kids to wait. Like, go for it, man.
Yeah. And Omar talked about, we talked about this the other day, is that Rich Dad, Poor Dad was a good eye awakener when you have these kids that are like 13 and 14 in the classroom, and they're talking with their teacher, and the teacher's telling them that they need to go to college. And listen, these guys are already mentally, their education level when it comes to finance is way higher than your average person. They're like, I really don't need college. And to the teacher, they're like, you need college. The same situation that was your brother-in-law went through. So I think those are real good topics. So if you guys haven't read or seen or listened to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you should probably look into it, because it kind of changed my life when it came to, it kind of opened my eyes a little bit just about how our economic system works as just being in America for me.
And I want to touch up on that a little bit. So the issue, and it's not just me, I mean, like the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that I think Robert Kiyosaki, like the guy always talks about. He says things like in school, you're just trained to go and just get a grade, and this is the only way you got to do things, and bottom line, here's what I think about that. Okay, bottom line of this whole education thing, and because look, we graduate from school. Guess what? Go ask anybody that graduates high school. Ask him, where does the dollar come from? Ask him that question, and I can guarantee you, 98, 99, at least 95% of the people, they don't know where it comes from. They're gonna tell you the bank. Well, my dad's wallet. I find it under the mattress, and that is gonna be that is the fact, guys. That is the truth. Anyway, but the bottom line on this whole thing is, from what you were saying, in my opinion here is, look, you got to get out of that box. Okay, Get out of that box, because that's how we're trained. That's how we're raised in school. You got to get out of the box and be yourself.
Right, be yourself. And so the main,
one
of the that's powerful.
I do.
Yeah, and what's powerful is that from that book that was there was like, this is what got me. What it was that he was like, the way that we're taught in school is we're taught to go to school, get a job, and work your way up the corporate ladder. Mm-hmm. And the rich dad is like, why would you want to work your way up the corporate ladder when you can own the ladder?
Yep.
That's what he says. You can own the ladder. It's like, bam, I can own the ladder. Yeah. And that right there changes everything, because you just got to go out there and just do it.
Yeah. I remember there was a story. I think it was actually I think it might have been Lil D when he was in college and stuff too, talking about business and stuff, and going to college for business. and he was in a business class being taught by a professor who never owned a business. And I'm not knocking the guy, right? I'm not knocking him because obviously he's built a profession off of this and doing well. But the thing is like, cool, we can pay somebody a lot of money to go learn how to know about business, but never ran a business. So I can learn from a guy right here who's living it, who's and bumped
his
it.
head, and
there's so much value there. So it's just funny. It's whatever your thing is, right? And then I don't think there's any right or wrong way. Just figure out what works best for you.
So what is it? What's the Rocky? Is it Rocky Desert? Where'd you come up with that name? Like, what made you think of that name? Like, Rocky is, man, it's gonna be tough along the way. But
so watch this. If you think about, if you go back to history here in the basin, right, in Grand County, well, it's rocky and it's a desert. Then you got some properties, right? Yeah. There you go.
There you go, man.
And then we got a little house here, and then we have a family of 4.
Yeah.
And that's my wife and my 2 daughters and myself, man. And there's no cat or dog because we don't have any animals.
Yeah. You have the cat on the roof there.
Hey, so where's the dollar come from? We're gonna go back to that because where does the dollar come from? Do I even know this answer?
So I'm gonna answer this. It's gonna be a short answer because this is a very, very long subject. You know, if you ask, you know, where
educate us, man. It comes from my daddy's pocket.
That's what my kids get, dude. Yeah. Dang it.
Yeah.
I should say, damn it.
Well, where does the dollar come from? Okay, so let's see. How can I explain this without making this too long of an answer? Okay,
you got 2 minutes, Omar.
All right, he says 2 minutes. All right. To my knowledge, you have to. The first thing you got to know is money. It comes out of thin air. Okay, money is printed, you know, by our government, and it comes out of nowhere. Okay, it's just an IOU, just a piece of paper that says, "Hey, I owe you," and so that just basically that becomes inflation. That's more debt into obviously our country, and that translates into debt for us, and it's just an ongoing thing. There's some interesting videos about this whole thing, and you know this and you know I can. I'll share this with you guys, but basically it comes out of nowhere. You know, our government prints money, and not just our government, but many governments across the it's printed. So that's pretty much where it comes from. So that's kind of a weird way to say it, right? But that is reality.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Money.
So
Derek, man, why would you call him out on that question? Why would you do that,
honestly,
dude?
I was just curious, man. I'm trying to get. Listen, I hang out with. Listen, one thing about me, man, is I get motivated by people and like that are just striving for things, right?
Right.
So,
but you didn't have to call him out on the greenback thing.
No,
dude.
but I was curious. I'm trying to get some more knowledge, dude. I'm learning. I'm always on the hunt for more knowledge.
Let me tell you, like he said, man, the government prints this stuff. They started off, they wanted to have gold, right? And they said the gold's going to be worth this type of stuff. And you know what? Let's not even talk about that.
Let's not talk about it. We're going to go.
That's the greenback stuff and the Federal Reserve, and it's some deep stuff, and a lot of people died over it. Kennedy.
Hey, so Omar, I got a question kind of round this thing up. We're not quite done, but
that last stuff.
No, it's live, man. What was I going to say? Oh, mindset. So we talk a lot about mindset and having a strong mindset to achieve goals and stuff. So, how would you to be successful? What kind of mindset should somebody have?
Well, I believe that that's mindset. That's a big word, and when it comes down to, I think investing, when it comes down to just about anything in life, man. Mm-hmm. But for me, mindset it's huge. That is the start. That is pretty much I would say that's your backbone, man. That's your strength. That's your powerful thing you have in your brain. And that's going to be for me. It's if I am able to see something from point A to point B. And I believe it, and I feel it, and I feel pretty good about it, and I know that all the resources, everything is in place. it's I know that it's attainable, it's doable.
Yeah.
Your mind, it's the most the most powerful tool that we have as humans.
Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing about this is that I think at some point I was reading a book, or I kind of heard about this, but they studies say that we as humans we only use like 30, that fraction of our capacity with our mind, like 30% or something like that. Man, that's low. And so you know, when you ask about mindset, it's just you have to. I think you have to believe what what you do, believe in what you're after, and what you believe in. You know, all this involves your values, man. Your beliefs. It involves your. It just look.
And we talk a lot about like poverty mindset too. I think, right? So one thing that I know where a lot of us are have is a poverty mindset, and I think it all comes to the systems we're raised in, right? And it's meant to keep us just in a system and down. So we talk about poverty mindset and a rich mindset. So how would you you don't have a poverty mindset, and that also comes to you sharing your knowledge. You know, I think if you have a poverty mindset, you're scared to share. There's a scarcity, right?
I'm not even going that deep. I think the thing is that a lot of people truly don't think that they can do what you do because they look at a person and say, hey, that house costs $300,000. There's no way that I can get in a business deal involving that, let alone owning that. So a lot of people say that the
poverty mindset.
The knowledge,
poverty mindset.
But it's not necessarily poverty mindset. It's not necessarily. It's the fact that they don't have the knowledge to do it. Because let me tell you,
that's what I'm saying.
Let me tell you,
it's all bound up in that.
No, but let me tell you, like he said, he was younger, dude, and he was in Mexico, and he had a business mindset as a baby.
Mm-hmm.
But then him coming here, he still had that mindset, but it took him a while to say, oh, this is where I can go.
Yeah.
But he already had that mindset. So for instance, I know guys that sell drugs. I don't want to, do that. But the thing is, a lot of these guys, they have a business mindset, but they don't know where to take it. So they go to jail because they don't know anything else besides selling drugs. A lot of them have the mindset to where they just need the knowledge, dude, because a lot of knowledge aren't shared with that group of people. See, what he did is that what Omar did is Omar and his wife said, you know what? We're going to just do it. And they dove into it, and they bumped their heads along the way. Now they're here, and now they can build a community in the next 30 years of all these entrepreneurs who will look at him and say, you know what? Who taught me? Omar taught me. But before that, a lot of people haven't really like dipped and dabbed into that. May not know anything about that, dude.
Well, let me kind of get into that a little bit. So you mentioned the poverty mindset, and so basically, like why so many people don't they won't even start a business. They won't even start doing something, right? Like even at a small scale, right? I mean, every business starts from scratch, from zero, from ideas, from reading books, listening to podcasts, right? You're like, hey. The minute that you believe and you think and you talk about it, hey, I think we can do this. I think with all this information we've been gathering, all these books and all this stuff, right? Once you tell yourself that, from there you just got to start and get going. Here's the thing, guys.
Yeah.
Like I think that no business it's easy to get started or to get going and or even keep it going, right? This could be like another long topic, but here's the thing. We have in this business that we're in, we have lost money, and it's in the thousands. Okay, some people might think, hey, well, this is all cool and it's all roses, right? No, we have lost money, man. I mean, and yes, it hurts, but guess what? Does knowledge cost you when you go to school? Does go learning from an instructor, how much does that cost you when you go to a 3-4 year university? The worst part of that is, you graduate and you're like, man, I hate this job, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing something that you love, and look, either way, it's going to cost you money. Today, tomorrow, the next day, down the road, it's going to cost you money. But that's when you learn the most. And then guess what?
That's
you
good.
just make the move and say, okay, I just learned a big lesson. And to learn that lesson cost me X amount of dollars, and that can be in the thousands.
Right.
That's a good way to look at
So
it.
is there
That's a
any
good way to look at
So
it.
Omar, is there like, do you still socialize with a lot of like realtors around here? Do you guys like talk or get together to figure some of these things out? I mean, as a team, or I mean, is there a group of guys that you talk around with? I mean,
yeah. So I'm friends with a lot of realtors in town. There's a realtor that obviously we work with directly, for deals and buying and selling, right? I'm always up for meeting with someone else, maybe a realtor, maybe a mortgage officer. I mean, I think the network in any type of business, that's very important. And that's actually one of the things we're working on at the moment, and so it's very important to meet other individuals and talk about things and just make friends, right? I mean, network.
Hey, with that being said, Omar, kind of as we wind down now, so how can somebody maybe reach out to you, see what you guys do, see what you've done, and do you have anything going on where people can learn now?
Yeah, so of course people can always find us, find me at in Facebook, just under Omar Mendez or Rocky Desert Properties. We always we have an investor meetup like once monthly here in town, and I think it's one that you've actually attended.
Yep, they're good.
Hopefully, we'll see Anthony there here soon, right?
Yeah, I hope to be there, man.
But yeah, just reach out. You can maybe message me through Facebook. I would say if you're interested and if you're happy or looking to learn more about this business, probably the best thing would be to join the meetup on or
do it once a month. Yeah, and that meetup is actually really good. So anybody interested, even if they're on the fence about doing it and you want to just get a little bit of knowledge, I'd say show up. It's once a month, and it's been good for me. I've missed the last one, but I've been consistent now for a few months, and every time I go, I've got something new, and I think that's the most important thing. So you're learning directly from people that are in the game, so it's the best experience you have.
Right.
So anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, man, I've been wanting to know a little bit more about this. Derek's been holding out on me about going to these meetings. I'd have been going to them a long time ago. We're going to talk about that afterwards. But besides that, I'm really excited, and I appreciate Omar being here because this is a different chapter in my life. And I'm 42 years old, so it's just one of those things is I want to become a better man for my family.
Yeah, I think that's good. And I really think that, the point of this podcast, right, from the beginning was we have our little slogan that says, by dads, for dads, and everyone else, right? Mm-hmm. So first and foremost, like, this is for everybody, but kind of geared toward dads too, and young dads. Like, we want to make sure we're giving you guys different perspectives on life, things that we've been through, things that we're going through, things that can add value. So I just hope that this episode adds value to somebody, and
right.
If you can be that 17, 18-year-old kid that's like, you know what, like,
right.
I want to go that route, you can do it. Right. Or if you're that 55-year-old guy that right. is just fed up with his job and doesn't like what he's doing, get into something else, invest your money in something else. I hope this adds value.
Right. So what? One last thing I want to add to that. I think you just mentioned something powerful there. Whatever chapter that you're in, in your life, you just remember that there are always opportunities out there, and there's always ways to become, financial free. There's always ways to learn so much from other people. I mean, you really gotta. Here's the thing: you really gotta want it. Okay, I think that so many of us have passed through this where we see the gold, right? We see that oh man, look at this guy, what he's doing, or hey, look at that person over there, right? Don't get stuck on that. Like, get started. Go find someone who knows, the business that you and this may not be just real estate, right? This can be any kind of business, right? go find someone who can mentor you. Go ask for help. Read books. I mean, listen to podcasts, and just go out there and just do it, man. Just like this, this cup here says. Watch this right here.
What's it say?
It says hustle.
You better hustle, man.
Hey,
Guess-
that was on.
guess-
I don't
guess
know.
why.
Was that on purpose or an
You
accident?
set that up. You said that was pretty good, man. Hustle, man.
Hey, guess what? No, that wasn't set up. I just happened to see the word hustle on here, and I was like, hey,
You got the right glass.
any adventure, any business, anything you get into it, and in your career, anything you want to start, you want to grow a business, whatever it may be. I can tell you that nothing comes easy. There's going to be some hustle involved in it. Period, man. There's no easy peasy. And by the way, there's no free lunch either, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I've seen that many times. There's no free lunch.
Yep.
You got to go out there and get it done.
Got to get it no matter
gotta
what.
get
If
it.
you're not gonna get it, somebody else is.
Yeah. I
Might as
like
well
that.
get your piece of the pie. Anyways, hey,
that.
so yeah, episode 5 in the wraps. DNA, our legacy, our beliefs, our show, and just thank you guys. Keep sharing. We need our subscribers up, and up, and up. They're going. We appreciate you guys, and thank you, my buddy Omar Mendez, for showing up tonight, kicking some game and some knowledge. We appreciate it.
Rocky, remember, Rocky Desert. Hit them up.
Awesome, guys. Thank you, guys.